All right, welcome everyone. Today's video is going to be covering the Daiwa Silver Creek Glass Progressive BFS Rod, and I'm going to be kind of going over my thoughts on it and see how it's going to compare up to some of my other BFS rods, including my custom BFS rod that I've been using. So if you want to see that, keep watching. Also comment down below what other BFS content you want to see. Alright, so I got this rod from Digitaka a couple days ago, but it's been raining and I went out camping as well. So this is my unboxing. I generally don't like to do full unboxings, but just how the way that the rod was packaged, I thought that you guys would want to see that part of the purchasing process as well. So I'm gonna get into it. This isn't gonna be like an up close ASMR type video. This is just all about facts. Oh, it's actually really nice. The Silver Creek, the other Silver Creek rod I have is a few years old. It's the AGS version I've used quite a bit. That comes in kind of like a semi hard case. Ooh, that thing looks nice. That's pretty light, even with the tip on there. Grab the. So it's a two-piece rod. It's a 5'1". It's a glass. It's basically a composite. So what that is it's fiberglass mixed with carbon. And for this particular rod, I believe it's 33% carbon. Yeah, and then 67% glass. So what that's going to do is it's going to give you a little bit more lightness and sensitivity than, say, a full glass rod like this right here. And it's going to be a little bit more responsive. So it could be good for twitching minnows that I know a lot of people like to do. That's primarily what this rod is designed to do. And then let me take this tip out of here. Yeah, this was really hard to not unbox for myself the last, having this for 2 days now, just sitting on my table waiting. Okay, so the ferrule, this is what Daiwa calls their V-joint ferrule. All right, and you're always gonna have a little bit of a gap right here, just because after time with the components wearing, it'll still have a tight fit. If you had a tight fit right away, then after that wears out, your rod won't fit as well. What that does, it makes a smoother taper right here. So I'll line this up with that Daiwa sticker. So it's not a really big flat spot right there. That rod actually has a little bit more backbone than I wanted, but it has less tip, which is pretty good. It has a little bit faster taper than this custom glass rod that I have right here. And that feels nice. Let me take these stickers off and stuff here. But yeah, so the idea behind a composite rod is that you want to have some sensitivity, and you also want to have that responsiveness, especially if, and a little bit, it's easier to get some more backbone without adding a bunch of weight onto using carbon versus fiberglass. It takes a little bit more engineering to get that the taper to have some backbone and then giving at the tail end of it. Let me take this tag off here too. Okay, so that's out of the way. That feels nice. I mean, it's still kind of whippy like a glass rod, but it's, even just in my hand, it's fairly responsive. Some other things, it has like your typical old school, not old school, I should say, your more traditional looking reel seat as far as having the metal closures. And it's a lighter wood. I don't know what kind of wood that is, but it's a little bit lighter wood. It looks pretty nice. I like the maroon color of the blank. Just one issue for me, this is just me being a little OCD, is I have the Silver Creek reel here, and I mean it looks nice together, but it doesn't match exactly, which is kind of, that's just me getting kind of picky. But the cork makes everything look nice. The quality of the cork looks pretty good. I wouldn't say it's like 5A Portugal cork or anything, but it does look pretty nice. I still have the plastic on it because I just unboxed it, but the guides are titanium sick guides, so they're pretty high-end guides. A little bit high-end than I would like on a stream rod, just because you're kind of paying for a feature that you're not really going to feel on a shorter rod, unless you're really into like details. Right, so the taper, that tip comes down pretty good. Now, I mean, if you're going to be flip casting, I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but you can get some. It's going to take a little bit more weight than this rod here. This is an ultralight glass rod that I built. And this is what I wanted. I wanted something that fit above this. So this isn't going to be for like my brook trout. I think it could be actually okay with brook trout, maybe if you use some monofilament line on here. A lot of people, they use braided line with glass rods, and that's why I plan on doing it, just because that's what most people would want to see. Yeah, now getting that mounted on there. Oh, one thing I just noticed this. So if you look at the reel seat, it's not your traditional boxy metal reel seat. It actually has some nice taper to it, and it's a smaller trigger than most of your classic looking rods that are going to have these like wood metal reel seats. Well, that actually feels really nice. Hey. Yeah, that transition going just in my hand, going from palming, however you palm, if you palm with one finger or two fingers, I mean, it still feels nice. Yeah, that just has a nice little snap to it. The glass definitely is more responsive. I think it has to do with that carbon. And for the specs, I should probably talk about the specs. It's 2 to 10 gram lure, so that's pretty wide range, and that's going to give me a lot of versatility, especially because this year I plan fishing a lot of new rivers, and I could, you know, get in a brook trout like this, or I can get in a big brown trout. So that versatility is going to help. For line rating, it's 2 to 6 pound line, so that's a little bit on the light side, but 6 pound line in a river, that's pretty heavy, and I think a lot of people use heavier line than they really should. And if you're using PE line, which is also known as braided line in the United States, it's 0.3 go up to 0.8 go. So a lot of my braided line I use is 0.6 go, which is around 10 pound line. So this rod will fit in there just fine. Two piece, it comes off pretty easy, and it's a symmetrical two piece as well. So sometimes if you want to store it, you know, you can store it like this, just to protect that tip a little bit. I actually have on here, this is a product made by Jackson. So this is a 3-piece rod that I've been using for the last about year and a half or so. This is called the Egg Nut by Jackson. It's actually, I didn't think it was gonna be, I didn't know exactly how it would be, but then just actually getting it in hand, it actually feels really nice. It's a good way to connect multi-piece rods too. And something else that this rod comes with, I'll actually put the tip. The rod also comes with a nice rod sleeve. It's a little bit different. I can't say that I dislike this, but I would rather a little bit harder case. But this does look nice. I think it does go with the Silver Creek, a little bit more of like your traditional type rod case. But you have 2 sleeves in there that you'd put each. You put the tip in there, and then you also put like the main part. You wouldn't be able to have a reel connected doing this. So that's one thing that I'd like to be a little bit different. But most times, going to be honest, I probably won't use this reel case. I mean this rod case. The handle length's fairly short too, especially for a little bit heavier powered rod. Sometimes they make the handle a little bit longer, which I don't like. This still gives me good free range of motion throughout my wrist. I mean, I can do backhand cast, flip cast. Yeah, so that's welcome, and it has a composite cork rear too, just for a little bit more durability. It's not going to chip as easy as your just straight up cork. This is just a decorative foregrip here. That has nothing to do with your reel seat at all. But yeah, I think it's got a classic look, but a little bit more progressive with that red and the textured blank, the unsanded blank in the front. Yeah, that got some good power still in the back end too, which without overpowering smaller fish. This is gonna be good. That one rod that you can bring with you out stream fishing. It feels like I'm going to be able to, if I can cast like 3 gram lures comfortably with this, it's going to be a real winner. I know it's going to handle those heavier minnows like the Ryuki Spearhead or the Jackson Matoria that I just recently did a review on. It's going to be fine with that. So this is going to give me a lot of good versatility that I can bring one rod out to the stream instead of, you know, I bring this lighter rod and sometimes I'll, you know, get into some bigger fish or into some heavier current, and that rod can get bogged down a little bit. It can kind of be bent a little bit too much, and there's not enough rod to really be able to work your lure. So this being able to work lures in heavy current, I think would be a very welcome feature for me. All right, so I'm going to try the Conquest on here, and something I forgot inside the packaging, that there's a reel foot cover on here, and basically how that works is because a lot of these metal reel seats can scratch up your reel feet. So that just goes on here. It's a little silicone. And it goes on just like that. That's pretty nice. I wish a lot more rods came with that. This is something that, again, wasn't advertised, and it's kind of nice to be able to watch a video if you're interested in a reel. Just watching a video, there's small little details you might not see. Yeah, that fits. Yeah, because I put the Silver Creek in there without this on. Yeah, that'll protect it a little bit and give it a snug fit. And that looks pretty fancy, old school fancy with the round reel on that Conquest BFS. But yeah, even with this reel, it's not bad. It's a round reel, so it's not going to be as comfortable as that Silver Creek. No, but the Conquest BFS feels really nice on there. All right, so if you're interested in seeing more of this rod, make sure you subscribe. Also, comment down below just some general BFS stuff. Also, if you want to see the Conquest on here or the Silver Creek, I'm kind of torn between the two. I don't know exactly which one I'm going to go with, so comment down below. Thanks for watching.